All right, good morning everybody. I'm gonna show you today how to make the armature for your La Catrina that you are creating. So you've already kind of developed your design, and whether you have a kind of more mermaid style dress or the more, the kind with the flare, they're both basically gonna end up looking the same as far as the armature, okay? So when you go to start making your armature, you want to make sure you have your drawing with you and that your drawing is the size that you want your project to ultimately end up being. Now, I provided you with some wire. Your wire is an aluminum wire, but yours is a slightly thinner gauge than mine. So when you use yours, you'll be able to cut yours just with a pair of scissors. It's fine. I'm going to use some little clippers. But when you go to start using this to create your armature, kind of more is better for this one. So when I do this, I kind of start with like, okay, I'm going to go top to bottom. I kind of double everything. So I'm like, all right, top to bottom. I know I'm going to need arms. So I go, here's one arm. There's the first half of the arm, second half of the arm. I'm going to do that for the other arm as well. So now I've got like 4 of those. I'm gonna do it for the legs, even though my armature is not gonna end up having legs. It just kind of helps me keep the idea of what I'm doing. And then I wanna make sure I get across this way as well. So ultimately, I've already kind of finished this one and cut it out already. When I got to the end of measuring all my little stuff, I just added on a little bit of extra. So, and I just cut it off. So I just took my little wire cutters and snipped it, and you can use a pair of scissors. So the next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold the 2 cut ends, and I'm gonna kind of pull the wire through my fingers like this. So what my goal here is that I want to find the very center of my wire because I want to try to keep it as even as possible. So this is gonna be where the head's gonna go. So I'm gonna start with twisting the head down to the shoulders, and then I'm gonna go out and create the arms, and then I'm gonna create the rest of the body. Now, this part right here isn't very much to twist, but sometimes getting it started can be a little bit difficult. I like to use a, this is just a skewer, like if you were barbecuing something, like shish kebabs or something. But you can use a pencil. You can just use your fingers if you don't have any of that stuff. But I just stick it in the loop at the end, and I hold firm on this side, and I just twist it. So that way it can make a nice tight twist. This part right here, if it still has a loop on the end, that's fine. But you can see I've twisted it down to where the shoulders are gonna be. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be creating the arms, but I kind of wanna make sure that both arms are the same size. So when I figure out how long of a length I need for the wire, I'm gonna do both sides at the same time. So I'm gonna bend it over towards the shoulder, and then I'm gonna run it down to the end of the hand. And now I know I'm gonna come back, and I know when I twist it, it gets a little bit shorter. So I'm just gonna add on a little bit of extra to the arms, because I know if it ends up being too long, I can always just trim off some extra with the scissors later. So this is what it looks like now, where I've bent both of the arms at the same time. So at this point, I can open this up, and you can see here's my head, and I've started doing the arms, but they're gonna be a little bit longer, right? So now I'm gonna use the same process where I'm gonna hold tight. I'm gonna hold tight right next to the neck, and then I'm gonna use my skewer in the end. And like I said, you can use a pencil. You don't even have to use anything. You can just use your finger to twist it over and over again. But I find that having something in my hand, it just makes it a little bit easier for me. So I'm just twisting it and making sure that the wire's not gonna kind of go anywhere. There we go. So I've still got a little loop in the end, that's okay. So this is the extra is gonna become ultimately the body. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and do that on the other side. So this is one of those things where you have a lot of wire to start with, and it feels a little awkward to start with just because you have so much wire kind of flopping around. So make sure you don't poke yourself in the eye or something like that. But once you get kind of the wire twisted and your armature kind of set, you won't be in danger of poking yourself in the eye, hopefully. So I'm just going to twist the other side like that. And it's okay, like I said, if your arms are a little long or you have the little loop in the end, that's okay too. So now I have where my head's gonna go, I have where my shoulder and my arms are gonna go. So now I gotta do the body. So for me, when I do this, it's a little bit difficult for me. Like there's not really a loop on this end, but there is some stuff on this end. So what I tend to do is I'll twist this side and I just hold onto this side, but I'm gonna hold it kind of tight towards the middle. So actually I'm gonna move the arms out of the way. So this wire's bendy, so you can kind of bend it to wherever you want. So as I'm twisting this right here, I'm letting the wire kind of pull through my fingers, so I'm getting farther and farther away from the neck. It just kind of does it on its own for the most part as you twist. And you can see like right now, this twist and this twist look a little bit different because it just looks like this one wire is wrapping around the other wire. That's fine, that doesn't matter. As long as they're kind of sticking together, then you should be good. So you're gonna do this all the way down to the bottom of your wire. And it takes just a minute. And so like I said, we're creating the main part of your legs, your lower half from your hips down. And this part, you're basically creating the spine and then what's gonna end up supporting your dress in a minute. Okay, so I'm almost at the end. Here we go. Whee! All right. Now, if they didn't come out exactly perfectly even, like mine didn't, mine's just how I twisted it. It's fine, it doesn't matter. So go ahead and put your armature back on the figure. So make sure that, you know, your shoulder area where the neck meets the shoulders is lined up. And then this part right here, you can bend to the side. And all of this extra is now available for you to create the base of the dress. So we're basically making the little round part at the base of the dress. So for me, I'm gonna have this stick out towards the back, and then I'm gonna fold it around, and I'm gonna make this into a little circle. Now, if you can make it nice and even and go all the way around. If it's not quite long enough to go all the way around, that's okay too. If you have it too long, you can always just wrap a little extra on there. But really your goal is to kind of be able to have it stand on its own like this. Because once you have that, then you're gonna start adding on the tin foil. So the next video is how to add on the tin foil to start fleshing out your armature. All right, thanks.